always on the hunt for bull markets, even in the unlikeliest of places. And right now, there is an incredible stealth bull market in the RV space. Now, I think it might be a little too late to invest in these stocks. They've all had enormous runs, and we don't know how long this recession will last, or the COVID problem for that matter. But it's worth understanding how these stocks have caught fire during a very difficult period for the economy. And make no mistake, these things are red hot. After getting slammed at the beginning of the lockdown, they've come back with a vengeance. The two big makers of recreational vehicles and motorhomes, Thor Industries and Winnebago, are up more than 175% from the bottom and 243% respectively. When you zoom out and look at the parts suppliers like at LCI Industries, I got a question on that the other day, it's up more than 80%. And it's not just RVs, though that's what first caught my attention. It's camping. Witness the incredible run in Camping World Holdings, a major outdoor retailer that does a lot of business in the RV category, with a stock that's up nearly, I know you won't believe this, but it's not a typo from me, 580% from its March lows, 580%. That's not really a rebound, as Camping World's also up 63% for the year, which tells you that the COVID-19 economy has been a pronounced positive for these guys.
House of pleasure.
So what the heck is going on here? After a sustained multi-year run, the whole RV industry nosedived in 2018. Too much supply, not enough demand. Remember, Thor went down during that period. That was the beginning of a pretty tough time for the camping space. But suddenly this group is back with some truly wild rallies off the March lows. I have to admit I was hesitant to recommend them at first because I didn't know if these moves could be trusted. I mean, my bad. I was worried it might be a dead cat bounce or another zombie industry that would have trouble finding its footing in this new shelter-in-place economy. However, over the last couple of months, we've gotten some data points that suggest camping is back in a big way. When you think about it, most forms of recreation are simply unsafe right now, even in states where the economy is reopened, though in many places the reopening is being rolled back by these protests. Plus, I mean, how do we know, let's say if you're going across the country, how do we know that the hotel you're staying at is COVID-free? Airbnb. Camping, on the other hand, is the perfect COVID vacation. Not only do you finally get to go outside after spending months cooped up indoors, but you can still practice social distancing, especially if you've got an RV. One of these things lets you shelter in place and travel at the same time. It was made for this era. So maybe it shouldn't be surprising that the industry has caught fire in recent weeks. In the middle of May, a trade publication called RV Business published a piece noting that RV manufacturers were ramping up production. The reason? Listen to this. A rather surprising surge in retail orders as the U.S. public seeks to get back some form of normalcy in the wake of a life-altering pandemic, a fact that has been enhanced by a continuing upswing in new retail prospects interested in the social distancing and general control that RV travel offers in a changing world, end quote. It's ideal. Then the very next day, the Wall Street Journal publishes a piece declaring RVs, quote, the safest way to travel this summer, end quote. They quote an RV rental service that says, quote, we have been flooded with new inquiries and an unusually high number of longer rentals lasting for 1 to 3 months in duration. Now, if you can't go to work and you're going stir crazy, well, this is clearly the way to go. It's a lot safer than hitting a crowded beach or taking a cruise. I'm thinking 2020 could be the summer of Thor Industries, and the one you may actually know, there are a bunch of them, but you may know Airstream, and Winnebago. Now, the day after that, Forbes published an article on Campgrounds of America, which may or may not have been sponsored content. You know, those ads that look like normal stores. But either way, it had some intriguing information. Campgrounds of America, KOA, owns hundreds of private campgrounds in the U.S. and Canada. They're saying the recovery is already here. While May was down 30% year over year, that's a lot better than nearly down 60% in the hotel industry. Their July and August bookings are currently down just 15%. But September, it's up 50% versus last year. Now, I don't believe in a V-shaped recovery for the broader economy. Camping, though, it seems like the V has arrived, probably because competing forms of recreation are all considered to be unsafe. Plus, I can't blame anyone who wants to spend some time in the countryside right now. I mean, you know, Do you really want to take a trip to one of these big cities? Now, here's another piece of the puzzle. If you're having trouble believing in this RV resurgence, we got lots of ways to check things out on Mad Money. We checked out Google Trends, where they analyze their top search queries. This is the chart of searches for RV rentals near me, going back 5 years. Look at that incredible spike. We see the same thing when we look up RV for sale near me. Are we clever? And, of course, we've heard from the companies themselves. On May 5th, LCI Industries reported. These guys make parts for Thor Industries and Winnebago. CEO Jason Lippert told us, and I quote, our May looks like about 70% of what we were in February, early March, before this whole thing hit. So that's a lot better than we would have anticipated, end quote. He goes on to say, quote, I think there's an unprecedented opportunity for the RV business and the marine business alike to take advantage of just where consumers are positioned today with respect to how they're going to vacation in the new vacation normal, end quote. I know that I wanted to look at boats, too, but when you're when you're in a recession, it's really, really hard to buy boats. Now, on May 7th, Camping World reported, and they told an incredibly bullish story. CEO Marcus Lemonis, you know him from The Profit, explained that there was a big slowdown through mid-April, but that trend reversed. It continued to turn positive through May. Listen to this. Quote, our lead volume online is up substantially in some days, as much as 50%. In terms of our web traffic, it's up substantially, as much as 30%. And we're seeing that convert into first-time buyers like we've never seen before, end quote. That is fantastic. Lemonis doesn't want to get back into the RV rental business, too capital intensive. But he did say something interesting. He said, it wouldn't surprise me if in the next 12 months, if we as a company unveil technology and a platform that make it easier for non-traditional RVers to enter the lifestyle in a different kind of way, end quote. Well, that's not something you do if the industry's struggling. So these RV stocks, well, they got a lot going for them here. They benefit from both COVID-19 and social unrest, but they're also already, like I said, let's say not undiscovered, all right? However, when you judge them based on next year's earnings estimates, this is the good news. The stocks are far from expensive here. Thor Industries sells for 20 times earnings, Winnebago for just 17. My worry here is that these are luxury items, and luxury items tend to do poorly in a recession. What happens when the expanded unemployment insurance runs out at the end of July? Plus, we've also got rising gas prices, though $37 oil is still pretty cheap. So I say keep an eye on Thor and Winnebago. Thor reports next Monday, and Winnebago reports on the 17th. I think you can buy them if they sell off going into earnings, but otherwise you should withhold judgment, and I do like Camping World. The bottom line, while we've got an incredible bull market in the RV and camping stocks, we're very much late to the party with this one. My bad. I think the pandemic has given the industry a huge long-term boost, but the stocks might pull back as Wall Street realizes that the recession could be longer than they expected and even deeper. If you like the RV plays, that's when you buy them. Kevin in Texas. Kevin.
Hey, Jim. I recently purchased American Airline stock at $10.44 a share. After listening to one of your recent episodes, you stated we should not bottom fish. I love your episodes and highly value your opinion. Summer is huge for the airline industry. How might social distancing affect American Airlines stock this summer?
Well, that's the worry. I mean, look, I have decided that it's okay to recommend Southwest because Gary Kelly's going to figure out a way to do it. But I am concerned about social distancing in airlines, and I've not changed my view on that. Let's go to Todd in Massachusetts, please, Todd.
Jimbo, how are you doing? Thanks for having me on the show.
All good. How about you?
Doing well. So I'm calling about Spirit Airlines. They're down about 67% from the beginning of February before Corona hit, compared to 48% for the Jets ETF. And a lot of the other individual airline stocks have been hit a lot harder, or not hit as hard. So I'd expect that Spirit would have an advantage relative to these other airlines, given their lower cost structure, cheaper ticket fares, and should be primed to outperform. So my question for you is, why is Spirit trading at a discount, and do you think this is an opportunity?
It's quality. It just doesn't have the quality. You put that company up against Southwest Air, I mean, that's night and day. These companies do have good managements and, let's say, not as good managements, reputations that are great and reputations that are not as great. And that's just the way it is, like every industry. Right? There's a bull market in the RV and camping stocks. keep your eye on these. They've moved up a lot, but they can always come down and you can do some buying. Much more Mad Money, including my sit down with Proofpoint. Is the company worth considering as the work from home trend continues? I've got the CEO. Then it's a company up 35% over the past month alone. Can the move in Marvell, MRVL, a stock that's part of my COVID-19 index, continue? And all your calls rapid fire in tonight's edition of the Lightning Round. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @JimCramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.